Hey, I'm Chey, and 24 years ago today, I was released upon this earth. Whether to save it or destroy it, still no one knows. Ready? Rollin'. If you're watching this video on the day it was uploaded, that means that it is June 11th, and more importantly, my birthday. Also known as Dan Howell's birthday. But it's also my birthday too, okay? It only comes around once a year. I'm allowed to celebrate it. It's one time I get to actually celebrate myself. Kind of. To be honest, I am blatantly surprised that I have made it this far, that I have made it 24 years on this earth. Not because of any particularly dark themes, just because I'm kind of stupid, and I've been in a lot of less than ideal situations where I probably should have not come out positively on the other side of those less than ideal situations, but somehow, probably due to some eldritch horror which just wants to spike the universe, I'm still here. In the 24 years that I have already been breathing, I have been able to do some incredible things. I've been able to be a part of so many incredible things, have some great experiences. And obviously, I hope that continues. I thought an interesting way to celebrate my birthday would be looking back at the past, but also looking forward into the future a little bit. So I came up with a list of 25 things I want to do/accomplish before I turn 25. But before we get into that, to kind of encourage myself, I went through and made a list of 24 impressive things that I've already done or experienced. Impressive to me, in this sense. It's a personal impressive. Think of it as Chey's greatest hits so far. Without further ado, I have both my list here on my MacBook. I'm not going to go and wax poetic about the specifics of any of these things that I've already accomplished or the things that I want to do. I'm kind of just going to present them as is. I may give a few explanatory sentences, a little bit of background, but anything that would constitute a story time is just going to have to be a different video. So first list, 24 things I've already done. Number 1, graduated from college as a first-generation working-class student. Hi, Georgetown. How you doing? Oh, still black mold problems? Still? Really? Shout out to my GSP peeps. Number 2, watched the sunset from the Lincoln Memorial. 3, I've been to Ukraine. Fun fact, that was actually my first time ever out of the country. 14-hour flight, also my first flight ever. Fun times all around. Number 4, I wrote over 300,000 words in a year. Number 5, I listened to over 200 albums in a year. Number 6, this one's one of my personal favorites. I saw 21 Pilots on Halloween night. Now that is an experience I will never forget. I was actually at Georgetown when this happened, and it was during midterms. I had an intensive Chinese language midterm the very next day that I desperately needed to study for, as well as a couple other papers and assignments that were due. And I almost didn't go, but then I asked myself, you know what, Chey, 30 years from now, what are you gonna remember? That random college midterm, or getting to see one of your favorite bands on Halloween night? Clearly, I made a decision, and I freaking stand by it. One of the best experiences of my life. Number 7, I once placed in world championships for sparring in Taekwondo. Number 8, I performed my katana demo routine at a local premiere for Kung Fu Panda. Now I know you must have several questions about that sentence. Number 1, katanas. Yes, I am formally katana trained. Number 2, demo routine? Yes, I was in Taekwondo for many years. We had a demo team, which is basically a team that goes around being show-offs for the purposes of just practicing our art form and our skills. I say show-offs with the utmost love. Actually, my demo team picture is on the wall right here next to me. Oh wow. What a little nugget I was. But yeah, when Kung Fu Panda came out in our local theaters, they contacted our Taekwondo studio and they were like, hey, can you have your demo team come out and like give a little demonstration for like the local premiere? I was the only person on the team at that time formally trained in swordsmanship, so I was the only one to give a swordsmanship demo routine in a theater full of people at the premiere for Kung Fu Panda. Number 9, I broke my foot and walked on it for 2 weeks without knowing. Now you might say, Chey, how did you not know your foot was broken? Great question. I thought I had a pulled muscle. I thought it was a strained muscle. No, I'm not joking. And of course, shout out to Julia, who had to deal with me for those 2 weeks, because it was her who finally forced me to go to the doctor and find out that, no, you big dumb dummykins, it's not a muscle! You snapped your bone! Just snapped it right in half. Good old little snapper that thing was. Anyway, it healed. I'm fine now. Number 10. Graduated from Blackbird Studios with training in audio engineering. Number 11. I wrote over 100,000 words in a month out of spite. So this came on the heels of me writing 300k words in a year. After I had totaled everything up and found out that I wrote that much in December, then came January of the new year. My partner sent me a message and was like, watch you write 100k words in a month, just for the fun of it. I took that as a challenge, and I crushed it. Number 12. I got to be a VIP guest at the very last Warped Tour in Nashville. That was a crazy, crazy cool experience. I'm not gonna get into the story of it, but me and Angel were Kevin's guest. Yes, the Kevin of Warped Tour. We got to be some of his personal guests with our wristbands, which meant that we got to walk around backstage, got to watch shows on the stage, side stage, meander around. It was an absolutely incredible time, a lovely time. Thank you to Kevin and thank you to Warped Tour for that. Honestly, I mean, quite literally, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, because unless Warped Tour comes back, that's never gonna happen again. Oh, 14. 14's a fun one. I got recognized for a line dance that other bands are now requesting I make one for them too. Alright, I'm gonna go back on my rule for a very, very quick story time. Beartooth announced the show in Nashville that it was gonna be at the Wild Horse Saloon. I thought it was hilarious, the concept that a metal rock, metalcore band was going to be performing at Wild Horse Saloon in Nashville, which is very famous for hosting line dance lessons. And I thought, you know what will be hilarious? To make a line dance to a Beartooth song. And Ashi, God love him, Ashi was like, not gonna happen. And I was like, sir, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. And so I freaking made one. I made a line dance to Bad Listener. It is actually one of the very first videos that I ever posted on this channel. If you want to watch it all in its hilarity, I will link it up above. It's hilarious, but I'm also very serious about it. I put my heart and soul into that line dance. It's a legit line dance. Well, several months after the Beartooth show, I am seeing a Dragged Under show in Nashville. I'm actually wearing their shirt right now that I got to this show. It's pretty sick. As if I couldn't be more obnoxious, I do have a video of that show up on this channel. I think it was the first concert vlog I ever posted to this channel, actually. After the show, I'm talking to the various bands, the band members, you know, just chit-chatting. And I get to talking with Tony from Dragged Under. And I'm talking to him about, you know, this is your first headlining show I've seen in Nashville. The last time I saw y'all was with Beartooth in Atlanta. And he was like, oh yeah, that was like a sick show. And we were chit-chatting, and then I mentioned Beartooth's latest show in Nashville, which was at the Wild Horse Saloon. Haha, metal band in a Wild Horse Saloon, haha, line dance. And I casually mentioned about how obviously they needed a line dance for that show, and so I happily obliged. And Tony looks at me, and he's like, oh my god, it's you. You're the one that made the line dance. And I was like, huh? And he was like, yeah. I know about it. I've seen it. It's awesome. And of course, you know, I was like, thank you. But then immediately the next thing he said, he was like, why didn't you make one for us? And I was like, do you want one? And he was like, yes, we want one. He requested that I make one to Crooked Halos, and it has been over a year in the making now. And I promised Tony is never gonna see this video, who am I kidding? But it's gonna happen. I'm gonna make a line dance to Crooked Halos, mark my words. That's what I should have added as a goal before I'm 25. That's gonna be a bonus. But yeah, I guess now I am just a line dance commission artist for metal bands. I shouldn't even say commissions, I'm doing it for free. Number 15. Had one of my favorite songs dedicated to me at a live show. Number 16. Graduated valedictorian from high school. Number 17. I started doing YouTube. I count this as impressive because YouTube is something that I have wanted to do since I started watching YouTube, and I didn't start doing it until, well, when this comes out, about a year ago. Well, I made videos before then, but I didn't start consistently doing YouTube and making YouTube videos until about this time last year. So it's a big deal for me, and I'm happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here. Number 18. I've run a recording session as a lead engineer. Number 19. I got to visit Muscle Shoals and see the rooms and studios where my favorite artist ever, Bob Seger, recorded some of my favorite albums ever. I got to touch the piano that's on the song Old Time Rock and Roll. Life-defining moment. Number 20. I've been able to meet some of my internet friends in real life. 21. I've driven down Route 66. Number 22. I successfully stayed up for 24 hours playing my favorite video game. Never doing that again.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
And finally, number 24. I broke a story that became niche national news. Alright, that's over. The past is dead. Let's move on to the future. Things I want to do before I'm 25. Travel to a new country. Don't really care where, Just want to get out of here. But I have been wanting to go to France, to Italy, to Scotland, to Ireland, to Croatia for a very long time. I'm just ready to travel again. Number 2, get a tattoo. This is something that has been on my list for years. I want mini tattoos. I currently have none. The reason I haven't yet is mainly just the financial aspect, but it's looking more and more like it's going to happen sooner rather than later, and I'm very excited. Number 3, fully move out. We're working on it. Number 4, walk a 5K. I ain't running. I don't run from nothing. Number 5, see 50 concerts total. According to Concert Archives, which is the main thing I use to keep track of all of my concerts, I have seen 38 shows so far in my life. At least the ones that I can remember. And considering this goal just needs to be accomplished a year or so from now, I think seeing 12 more shows is pretty doable. That's like 1 show a month. In this past month alone, I just saw 5 shows. I think 1 more a month is more than doable for me. Number 6, establish a morning routine I actually stick to. This is probably going to be the hardest thing on this list. Number 7, finally beat Pokemon Pearl. Have I had this game since it came out on Nintendo DS? Yes. Have I ever beaten it? No, but I'm gonna. Number 8, read 80% of the books I own as of right now. I know between now and this time next year, I'm going to acquire even more books. That is why I'm saying the books I own as of right now. I'm trying to make more of an emphasis to actually read the books that I own that I haven't yet read instead of buying new ones. But I do end up asking for a lot of books as birthday and Christmas gifts, so even if I don't buy any myself from this year to next year, I know I'm still gonna get more. But if I try to focus on reading all the books that I own right now, hopefully, I'll finish some and be able to get rid of some more and make space for those new ones coming in. Number 9, perfect a recipe for every meal. I don't need to be a master of like 20 different recipes. I just want to be able to have a go-to breakfast recipe, lunch, supper, and maybe dessert. Number 10, go to karaoke. I don't have stage fright. I know I'm a bad singer, and I have no dignity. So I have no problem with karaoke. I just haven't been yet. Number 11, start drumming. My mother has wanted me to become a drummer since the day I was born. I'm finally giving in, and I'm gonna oblige her. Not just because she wants it, but I want it to. I like hitting things. Number 12, use my sketchbook regularly. I have been trying to sketch more and more, but I am just so afraid of my sketchbook because in my head, I know that a sketchbook is for practice and not everything in it is supposed to be perfect or great. It's supposed to be a place for learning and messing up, but it bothers me that I'm not immediately good at it. But I want to get over that and I want to start actually using it pretty regularly. At least once a week. I would consider that regularly. God, that word's hard to say. Number 13, start making my short film. Number 14, go back to North Carolina for a short vacation. Number 15, start learning Unreal Engine. Sorry, I just got a notification from Obey Me on my phone that is fully in Japanese, and I'm like, I want to learn Japanese. Do not throw me into the deep end like that. Can throw you in the deep end, deep end. That's a great I Prevail song. Deep end. 16. Hike a trail not close to my house. Quick explanation. I grew up very close to Natchez Trace. Tons of hiking trails around. Done them before. Been there, done that. I want to hike a trail that I didn't grow up with. That's it. 17. Start therapy again. 18. See if I'm a candidate for LASIK surgery and get it. Because I am tired of paying $300 plus a year for these things. Even with insurance. 19. Try a blacksmithing or handiwork course. I want to be a blacksmith so bad. I want to have my own forge one day. That is part of my dream home, along with a library and a music studio. I want a hammer. I want a big hammer. 21. Volunteer or donate somewhere regularly. Back in middle school and elementary school, some in high school, I used to volunteer pretty often at the local elderly care home and the animal shelter. Then, of course, life kind of got in the way. I moved to DC for college for 4 years. Then when I moved back, I was back in school, and since then I've been working. Now that I'm starting to get a handle on my freelancing schedule, though, I'd like to get back into volunteering somewhere, and if I can't volunteer my time, I want to find a local place where I can at least either donate supplies or donate some money every now and then. 22. Use my vintage camera. I bought a vintage camera at a yard sale a couple years ago that's actually a film camera. I forget what the actual model of it is off the top of my head. And I've used it a couple times, but I need to play more with it and dial it in. The problem is that film is incredibly expensive. That makes it an expensive thing to play around with, but I actually want to be able to use it and to learn it. 23. Solve a corn maze. I think I'd be really good at it. 24. Learn how to make good gyoza. I am not counting this towards the perfect recipe goal because this is a recipe, I mean, this is a recipe, but this is a goal that I've had for about 2 years now that I have just not worked on, and I want to because I love gyoza and I want to be able to make it myself and have it for dinner when I want it. And finally, 25. Work at a record store. Record stores are one of my favorite places on earth, and I've just always wanted to work in one, even if it's just as a stock person, because I love them so much. We actually have one in the town nearest to me that I'm a pretty regular customer at, and I will just say, it seems like this goal may be accomplished very, very soon. Alright, that's it. I'm tired of holding my laptop. Actually, I lied. There's a bonus album that I'm setting aside in case I just want to do a little swap-a-roo, in case I want to swap one out, and that is Crowd Surf. Never done it, but I want to. Particularly, I want to do it at a Beartooth show for the first time. Also kind of scared to do it, but you know what? Still want to. I don't think it's something that I would get into doing regularly, but I do want to do it at least once in my life. I am very curious over the next year to see how many of these I accomplish, and of course I will be documenting as many of these as I can, keeping y'all updated, taking y'all along with me, and I guess we'll see where we're at in a year from now. As for right now though, thank you so much for watching. If you ain't heard it from anyone else today, I love you. Love and peace.